Do not fret, viewer of this video. Papa Moore has arrived with your opinion on every Awper in Counter-Strike history. Kind of. Instead of doing every single Awper who has ever been in Tier 1, because that would take approximately 7 hours, today I will be looking at every single Awper who has had at least one appearance in the HLTV Top 20, putting them into a giant list based on 3 categories. Your spot in this tier list is determined by one thing mainly. I call it the Awper score formula, or AS for short. Now, I am genuinely petrified to show you what this actual formula is, because I know someone with a big brain who actually knows things is going to see this and go, what the fuck is this guy doing? But I will give you a rundown of what it does. For starters, your personal best placement on the HLTV Top 20, or how good were you at your peak. The maximum amount of points you can get for this is 150 if you ever placed first, and then that goes down exponentially the lower you place. So if you're in second place, you get 75. Third place, you get 50. And then it keeps going lower and lower the lower you place. Then after that is your all-time rating. If an Awper clearly moved down to tier 2, I didn't include that though. I only included the teams that were in tier 1 during their time playing and then took their rating from that. So for example, if your total rating is a 1.2 over your time in tier 1, you would get 70 points because it would be 0.2 times 350. Then you get 5 points for every tournament you won, 30 points for every major you've won, 12 points for an MVP award, and 5 points for every single time you made the top 20 to try and glaze the players who were super good over a long period of time a little more. And an extra bonus one only if you're an IGL, because, you know, to be honest, Awpers who are callers as well are just freaks. They deserve a little extra bit of glaze. You get points depending on how good your team was at their peak. So for example, if you were ranked number 1 in the world and you were the Awp IGL, you get a bonus 120 points. And similar to the personal best on the HLTV Top 20, that goes down exponentially depending on what your peak team ranking was. I feel like this formula takes everything that the player has achieved from a completely unbiased point of view and just kind of spits out a number for it, and that's kind of what we need for a video like this. If you're a good Awper, you're going to have good personal achievements, and your main job as a Counter-Strike player is to win, so of course you're also going to get points for winning more. I just personally overall think it's a pretty good formula to help us with this, but after this initially slots players into tiers, I then also take into account eye test and the almighty, all hated by some people on mouse, aura. If someone who has never even heard of Counter-Strike knows who you are, your aura score is going to be pretty high. You know, for example, Kenny, yes, example simple. And then, of course, I watched a lot of highlights of these players on Twitch, and me and the chat both agreed on a certain eye test score. That will then be used to order the players in their tiers. Holy fuck. I think that's it. Is that long enough intro for you? Farmlings, the sponsor of today's video, is Skin Place, a site where you can quickly and safely sell your skins. Then you can choose one of their many withdrawal methods such as PayPal, crypto, or card. And if you use my promo code Garmour, you will get a 2% bonus to the first sale you make. You'll then get your money as soon as the trade protection for the skin is over. Or if you're looking for something new, they also have a huge market of skins that you can buy from. Along with this, Skin Place has a new event called the Egg Hunt, or rather the hunt for the Butterfly Knife Gamma Doppler Phase 3 minimum wear. Or you can get Driver Gloves King Snake Factory New. You have a chance to take part in this giveaway until April 28th, and the way you participate is just by visiting the site daily, collecting coins, completing tasks, and joining the draw. Coins can also be exchanged for skins in the bonus store. Thank you to Skin Place for sponsoring, and back to the video. To start us off is the F tier, and we have 3 players in here. The first of which is someone named Aslak. His AS score is 59.3, his eye test score is a 1, and his aura score is a 2. Aslak made his only top 20 appearance in 2011 at number 17. You might have not thought we would include the 1.6 years, but I said I would include every player who has ever been in a top 20 list. In 2011, the 18-year-old Finnish Awper Aslak broke out with Winfoct in the second half of the year, and while the team did have some pretty decent showings at Tier 1 tournaments, they would never win a Tier 1 tournament. Despite this, Aslak did look like one of the best talents in the entire scene, but it never really went anywhere. The team would slowly get worse going into 2012, where he would eventually leave and end 1.6 with a 1.13 rating. Then heading into CSGO, he played on ENCE for a while. That didn't really work. He jumped around other various teams, and from what I can see, he eventually retired in 2018. Throughout his time in CSGO, he posted a 1.04 rating, and while it is cool that he was the first ever Finnish player on the HLTV top 20, he sadly has to take the last spot on our list. In it, the next spot is Nico. No, not that Nico. This one is Danish, and no, not that Danish Nico. He played 1.6 for a while, and no, not the Swedish 1.6 Nico. This is Danish Nico 2 who opt, okay? Let's just get that straight. He posted a 59.2, he had an eye test of 3, and an aura of 1, because there is just way too many fucking Nikos. Nico placed in his only ever HLTV top 20 list in 2013 at number 14. Throughout a majority of this year, he played for Western Wolves, where he posted a 1.11 rating and was one of the best Awpers in the world. The first iteration of this team included some Danish legends like Glaive, MSL, and even Pimp, and he would eventually go on to make the playoffs of the first ever major, DreamHack winner 2013 with Copenhagen Wolves. This team included the Astralis core of Dupree, Zipnix, and Device, and at this time, Device was rifling, so Nico was the main Awper. At this major, Nico was a top 10 rated player with a 1.14, but his peak was very short-lived. There would be kind of weird issues in 2014. Nico wouldn't play half the year, and there was more drama as Glaive was banned and fined by GDK because he threatened to boycott the tournament organizer if he could not take his girlfriend to the venue with him.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
The Awper Nico tried to get around this by registering his girlfriend as the manager of their team. So, you know, I don't know exactly why he didn't play the first half of the year, but there was some weird shit going on in the second half of the year. Anyways, with them in the second half of the year, he posted a 102 rating, and well, it looked like his prime had ended after 2013. The last player who we have in the F tier is Alu. Alu had a 59.4 AS score, a 6 on the eye test, and an 8 on the aura score, which is mostly just from him posting his ball sack on Twitter. I know an alpha male when I see one. Alu got his top 20 placement in 2015 when he was playing for NIP. During this year, he posted a 1.04 rating, which you might think isn't enough to get you on an HLTV top 20 list, but their main reasoning was his stability and success rate in opening duels. Alu also went on to eventually play for FaZe, winning a trophy there, and ENCE, where he won 2 trophies and made a major final. Throughout Alu's career, he's posted a 1.09 rating and has been a pretty good Awper, but has never really been an elite one, so I think his spot at the top of F tier is fair. Moving on from the F tier, we of course have the D tier. What can the D tier stand for? Decent? In contrast to the F tier standing for, I don't know,
fucking failure.
The first player we have in the D tier is Henny. Henny had a 79.4 AS score, a 3 on the eye test score, and a 3 on the aura score. Henny actually got his top 20 placement during the online era in 2020, as he placed number 16 in the world, in part due to his 1.15 rating on Furia. During this year with Furia, he won 3 tournaments, and was even the MVP of one. At the time, people were thinking finally this was Henny's breakout year. He had finally arrived, because he had been in the scene for a decent while, winning a tournament with Tempo Storm in 2016, winning another tournament with Immortals in 2017, along with making the major final of Krakow.
I think sometime in the life I'm too competitive.
And while on Tempo Storm, he had a 1.16. On Immortals, he had a 1.18. He played on Luminosity for a while when he posted a 1.10. You know, this guy had been around for a long time and looked incredibly good in Tier 2, Tier 1.5 Brazil. After he really broke out in 2020 with Furia, he never really got to those heights again. This was his only ever top 20 placement, and he continued to go from team to team to team, and as of today, he plays on Gaming Gladiators. His overall rating throughout his entire career is a 1.1. Henny's always been a good Awper, but wasn't really consistently good enough to stay on a tier 1 team, and well, overall, I just think he fits in fine in the D tier. The next player I'm going to talk about in D tier is Torji. His AS score is an 82.3. His eye test is a 6, but unfortunately, due to what has recently happened and him being on mouse, his aura score tanks him with it only being a 1. If it weren't for this, he would be a lot higher in the D tier. Torji is the first player we're going to talk about who has multiple appearances in the top 20, being number 20 in 2024 and number 17 in 2025. Along with this, he has won 4 tournaments, being the MVP of 1. The thing with Torji is he is kind of a rock. He's been consistently good for Mouse since he joined their main team. I'd also say since CS2 started, he's consistently been one of the best Awpers in the world. And it is still fairly early in Torji's career, so he could move up this list a ton. But at this point, I just don't think he's individually good enough, and he hasn't individually achieved enough to be any higher than the D tier. Next is Sunpius. Sunpius has an AS score of 80, an eye test score of 5, and an aura score of 3. While he does have less top 20 appearances than Torji does, his peak was significantly better, being number 6 in the world in 2023, winning IEM Dallas with ENCE and being the MVP, and winning Blast Open London with G2. Now, his time on G2 has been a little rocky. He hasn't been anything insane, but he is kind of a weird one to rank because his peak was so unbelievably good. Unfortunately, just wasn't very long-lived. But because of his incredibly high peak, that was single-handedly enough to get him ranked where he is. The next Awper we have is Woxic. Woxic has an AS score of 80, an eye test of 5, and an aura score of 4. Woxic placed number 12 in 2019 with Mouse Sports, which is definitely the best form of Woxic we have ever seen. And with them, he has also won 3 tournaments, was the MVP of 1, and also recently won PGL Masters Bucharest with Aurora. Overall, throughout Woxic's career, he has been a good Awper. He also was incredibly entertaining early on just due to how high his sense was. I think for a while, he easily had the highest sense out of any player in tier 1, which a lot of people thought was very interesting. It's why his aura score is higher than Sunpius's. He was on that flopped Cloud9 team, but it doesn't really ding his legacy too much. And well, for nearly half a decade at this point, he's been playing pretty fine. You know, it's not prime Mouse Woxic, but he has still been very good over the past couple of years.
Always same.
Always the same?
Always same. Never changing.
This one might shock some of you, but he was very good early on in CSGO, and that is Smiths. He had an Awper score of a 96.8, an eye test score of a 5, and an aura score of a 5. He's won a total of 12 tournaments in CSGO, along with a major win in 2014. Smiths is kind of a weird situation because he wasn't an Awper all the time. He'd opt a little bit in 1.6, but he was more of a rifler. When Kenny S left Very Games in May of 2013, though, he would have to pick it up because they didn't have an Awper anymore. And well, as he placed top 20 this year, along with winning a total of 4 tournaments, he showed he could be very good with the weapon. Late in his career, he did fall off a cliff, but early on, Smiths is a legend of the game and was pretty good with the AWP. Next, we have Cirque. I personally glazed the fuck out of Cirque. I love Cirque. He had an AS score of a 96.8, an eye test score of a 6, and an aura score of a 6. Cirque was also the first ever Bulgarian player to make the HLTV top 20 list when he placed number 18 in 2019. Throughout his career, he's won 7 tournaments, and it was the MVP of 2 of them. And I mean, this dude was my little Bulgarian goat when he played on NRG and EG. But as he did only place in the HLTV top 20 once, and it was in the lower end of it, he can't really be any higher than D tier, even with his pretty solid overall rating of a 1.11. The next player on this list is Sixer. Sixer had an AS score of 88, an eye test score of a 7, and an aura score of a 6. Sixer's top 20 appearance came in 2010 at number 13, and he was the first ever French player to make the list. Back in 2010, he genuinely looked like one of the best and flashiest Awpers in the scene. The only unfortunate part is he was on horrible teams this entire year. They never really had any chance at any S-tier events. And well, this pretty much continued throughout his career in 1.6 until he moved over to CSGO, where he did win WESG 2016 World Finals, but never placed in the top 20 again. And during his time in Go, he played for a ton of different teams, overall posting a 1.01 rating. In at the top of D tier, we have a personal goat of mine, and that is Skadoodle. He had an Awper score of 90, an eye test score of 6, but an aura score of 9. He placed number 20 in 2015, and is to this day the only Awper from North America to have ever made the top 20 list in CSGO. We'll talk about another North American Awper later on in this list, but he wasn't in CSGO. During his peak in 2015, he posted a 1.13, and throughout his career has won 6 tournaments, including the Boston Major.
Fuck you, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
And I'm gonna be honest, that major win is a huge reason as to why he is the top player in D tier, because he beat one of the most evil super teams of all time, proceeded to close out the major, killing Guardian in overtime, and then said, "I'm not crying, you're crying." A fucking legend of the game. Next, we have the C tier, which stands for completely awesome Awpers. I hope no one is upset about placements in this tier. A good thing it's my tier list and not yours. In at the bottom of C tier, we have a German goat, the only German to have ever made an HLTV top 20 list, and that is Searson. His AS score was a 100.5, his eye test score was a 4, but his aura score was an 8 because he's motherfucking Searson. Online era Searson was a monster unlike anything I had ever seen. In 2020, he was the number 10 player in the world, helped Big be the number 1 ranked team in the world for a part of the online era as well. He went on to win 4 tournaments with the team and even another tournament later in 2022, along with 2 MVPs. Yeah, man, Searson was a monster during 2020. He overall had a 1.16 rating. He never really went on to have the same insane success on LAN as he did online, but yeah, his unbelievable success during the online era was enough to get him in the bottom of the C tier. Next up in the C tier is 1-time major winner, 4-time tournament winner, and number 11 player of 2024, Mr. XQC Wonderful. Give it up for him, guys. Wonderful's AS score came out to be a 107.1, his eye test score a 6, and his aura score a 6. His aura score does vary depending on what haircut he decides to have that month, but I think it overall evened out at about there. Wonderful has been a very interesting player since he's joined Na'Vi. Some of the highs Wonderful has makes you go, is Prime Simple back on this team? But then sometimes he'll have the stinkiest stinker in the playoffs, which makes you go, oh, okay. And remind you that he is one of the most inconsistent Awpers in the entire scene. Since joining Na'Vi, his overall rating is a 1.1, and I mean, Buddy did win a major. Yeah, Wonderful is definitely a very controversial Awper, but I think his placement in C tier is pretty deserved. Next up on this list, you may have known him as the 50-year-old talent on the Sinners, but he was pretty damn good on Mouse in his 40s as well, and that is Oscar. He was the number 16 player of 2017 and the number 14 player of 2018. During his time with the team, he won 4 tournaments, was the MVP of 2, and also posted a 1.15 rating. Whenever I watched, it felt like he was right there near the top, always doing his job and doing what the team needed him to do. Next, in the C tier, we have Molodoy. His AS score was a 1.16, with his eye test being an 8, but unfortunately his aura score was a 4. Now, this mainly just stems from him kind of falling off in a lot of playoff games, specifically last year in major playoff games. But overall, last year, Molodoy was a fucking beast, and the fact that he can even be this high in C tier with so many legends on this list, after just 1 year of pro play, is pretty impressive.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
In 2025, he was the number 6 player of the year, won 4 tournaments, was the MVP of 2, and also won Rookie of the Year. The eye test when he's on is off the charts. Like I said, the only thing that really brings him down a little bit is his playoff performances. But he is still incredibly young. It's still incredibly young into his pro career, and I am sure he will be moving up this list in no time. Right in above Molodoy with an Awper score of 149.2, an eye test score of a 7, and an aura score of a 5, is Delpin from 1.6. He was the number 10 player in 2010 and the number 9 player in 2011. And along with this, Buddy was just simply a winner. He went on to win a major with SK in 2011, along with various other S tier tournaments. And through the course of 1.6, his HLTV rating was a 1.15. This dude was just simply one of the best Awpers in the world towards the end of 1.6. And while this success didn't really translate to CSGO, he never won a tournament and had a 1.04 rating. His time in 1.6 is easily enough to get him in the middle of C tier. We might as well get him out of the way. Right after this, we have 2 more 1.6 Awpers, Freeze and Kerrigan. Freeze had an AS score of 118.9 with an eye test score of a 5 and an aura score of an 8, because I mean, just fucking look at the guy. Kerrigan had an AS score of a 131.8, an eye test score of a 5, and an aura score of a 7. In 2011, Freeze and Kerrigan were right next to each other on the HLTV top 20 list, with Freeze being number 7 and Kerrigan being number 8. In 2011, Freeze played for TCM and Fnatic, and once he joined Fnatic, he'd go on to win 2 S tier tournaments, along with a ton more in 2012 with the team. In 2011, Kerrigan played for Mouse, and despite his team not being as successful, if you watched him play, you could clearly tell he was one of the most talented Awpers in the entire scene. And well, funnily enough, Freeze and Kerrigan would team up in 2012 on Fnatic. It was kind of a weird move, I guess, with them both being Awpers, but Kerrigan kind of took the back seat here and let Freeze be the main Awper. But overall, as an Awper in 1.6, these guys were both great. Freeze had a 1.15 and Kerrigan had a 1.18 and 1.6, and I think it is fair that they are right next to each other in the C tier. This one might ruffle some feathers. The player who is going to top the C tier is the GOAT himself, Cadian. Cadian's Awper score was a 173.9 3.8. It was boosted heavily due to him being an IGL and how good Heroic was, along with his eye test score being a 6. And because he's one of the best villains we've ever had in Counter-Strike, he played the role as good as anyone. His aura score is, of course, a 10. Cadian placed number 18 in the world in 2023 as a caller for Heroic. And along with this, he won 6 tournaments, was in the finals of a major, and even had highlight of the year in 2021. After being kind of a reject in the Danish scene throughout most of his career, seeing Cadian break out on Heroic was kind of a fun experience, especially when you consider he kind of took them from a tier 2 team to literally one of the best teams in the world, along with individually being a pretty solid player, posting a 1.09 with the team. I think it does make sense that Cadian tops the C tier. Next, we go to the B tier, which stands for beautiful Awpers. And the first beautiful Awper we have is Brokey. Current day Brokey is, well, he's a shell of what Prime Brokey was. But due to how good he was in his prime, his Awper score is a 202.5, his eye test score is an 8, and his aura score is a 7.
Gonna be a 2-0 for us. A very easy game.
Very easy game. Why do you think it's going to be so easy versus Mouth?
They suck.
Do not let current Brokey fool you as to how fucking unbelievable he was just a few years ago. He placed number 20 in 2021, number 6 in 2022, number 10 in 2023, and number 8 in 2024. Along with being a one-time major winner, he won a billion tournaments with FaZe, won an Intel Grand Slam, and also has been the MVP of 3 tournaments. Along with all of this, when he was in his prime, Brokey was one of the most fun Awpers in the entire scene to watch. You know, you just look at Brokey Clutch or Brokey highlight compilation, your mind is going to be fucking blown at how he turned into what he is today. Next on this list, we're finally getting to that other NA Awper I talked about earlier. We have Fraud, whose Awper score is a 219, his eye test score is an 8, and his aura is an 8. Personal bias be damned, I couldn't give him any lower than an 8. He was the number 14 best player in 2010, and while he was one of the best players in all of 1.6 history, not even just North America, in 1.6 he won 2 majors with Complexity, along with a billion other tournaments with them and Evil Geniuses. You know, before HLTV awards were a thing, he was also nominated for Esports Player of the Year in 2005, as well as the North American Player of the Decade for 2000 and 2010. Fraud is a fucking beast, and there is just a million different highlight videos you can watch of him in his prime. Right above Fraud, we have DSN, who was an Awper for Fnatic for a very long time. DSN's Awper score was a 253, with an 8 eye test and an 8 aura score, because, well, at his core, this dude was just a fucking winner. He joined the team in 2005 and was with them until nearly the end of 2011, and, well, with him, Fnatic, they won a lot in 1.6. They also won a major in 2006, a major in 2009, along with making the finals of 3 other majors. During his time opping for Fnatic, they were just one of the best teams in the entire game, and although his only top 20 appearance was in 2010 at number 20, when the list came out, he was kind of on the decline, and I'm not gonna punish him for that. He was a monster year after year after year before this. Right above him is Pasha Biceps. Pasha Biceps' Awper score was 238.5. He had an eye test score of an 8, and because he is Pasha Biceps and he has the damn biggest biceps you've ever seen, his aura score is a 10. The cool thing about Pasha is he wasn't even just a beast in CSGO, as he had actually placed on the top 20 list in 2011, where he placed number 18, and while, as you probably know, he continued this success into Go. He was the number 19 best player of 2013 and the number 3 player of 2014, along with being a major winner, a major MVP. On Prime vs Plow, he won a trillion other tournaments, being the MVP of 3 of them. Pasha's global offensive prime is really from 2012 to 2014, as in 2012 he posted a 1.15, in 2013 a 1.11, and in 2014 a 1.13. He was one of the best early hybrid Awpers in the entire game, and is just a legend. I think he absolutely belongs near the top of B tier. Right above Pasha Biceps, we have the man who is making a renaissance and taking over Counter-Strike in 2026. Well, I mean, if you ignore Vitality, he's the biggest narrative-wise player of this year, I feel like. And that is James. James' Awper score comes out to a 279.5. His eye test score is an 8. And because he's James, the Sigma male father of all of Counter-Strike, his aura score is a 10. James is placed in the HLTV top 20 list twice, being number 10 in 2021 and number 20 in 2022. Along with this, he has made 2 major finals, winning having won with Outsiders. Along with being the MVP of that major, he has won 5 other majors and has 3 total MVPs. Jane, without a doubt, in my opinion, deserves this spot near the top of B tier. He is one of the legends of the game, and while he did get a pretty big boost from the IGL boost, being as good as he is individually while being able to call as well as he does, I think it's well deserved. And I'm just gonna say something here, fellas. I'm pretty sure I've seen more highlights from Jame in 2026 than I have from Monacy since he joined Falcons last year. Speaking of Monacy, guess who's next? Monacy is the highest player in B tier, having a 277.5 Awper score, a 10 on the eye test score, and a 9 on the aura score. When Monacy first joined G2, he's being called the young GOAT, and I think he was without a doubt the biggest name new young superstar in the entire game. He would be a 10, but he's kind of tanked since joining Falcons. Despite this, he is without a doubt one of the greatest Awpers in Counter-Strike history. He placed number 7 in 2022, number 4 in 2023, number 2 in 2024, and number 4 in 2025, along with winning 6 tournaments and having 6 MVPs. Monacy is a fucking monster. Eye test wise, he has hit some of the most insane clips I have ever seen. He truly did look like the young GOAT at some point, and I'm sure he would be much higher on this list, at least in the A tier, if 1, he had won a major, and 2, had won a tournament since joining Falcons. This might age poorly in between me recording and this video being released. At this point in time, Monacy is only 20, so I do believe he's going to go up in this list. But as of right now, he has to be in the top of B tier. Next up, we have the A tier. This is the big boys. The A tier can stand for astronomically awesome Awpers. And in at the bottom of this tier, we have Shiro. Shiro's Awping score was a 310 with an eye test score of an 8 and an aura score of a 6. Shiro has been one of the best Awpers in the game for half a decade at this point, originally breaking out with Gambit, where he won 7 tournaments. That Gambit team eventually got bought up by Cloud9, where he won 1 tournament. He eventually joined Spirit in late 2023, and since then has won 8 more tournaments, along with a major. He's placed in the top 25 years in a row, being number 4 in 2021, number 3 in 2022, number 8 in 2023, number 6 in 2024,
Number 6 with extra dip,
and number 5 in 2025. He also has 4 MVP awards. Shiro might not be the flashiest Awper you've ever watched. Watching him might even put you to sleep, but he is without a doubt one of the most consistent Awpers we have had over the past couple of years, along with being an incredible clutcher, and his overall rating throughout his career is a 1.26. And he's done all this at only 24 years old. I do think because of what I stated earlier, he isn't a super exciting Awper. He does kind of get underrated a little bit, and I mean, he has had some issues in big tournaments and in playoffs recently, but overall, I think without a doubt, Shiro deserves to be in the A tier. Right above Shiro in the A tier, we have one of the most heartbreaking stories in all of Counter-Strike, and that is Guardian. Guardian's Awper score was a 324.5 with an eye test score of a 9 and an aura score of a 6. One of the best Awpers to ever play the game and not win a major. He was in the HLTV top 20 list 6 years in a row, being ranked number 10 in 2013, number 11 in 2014, number 2 in 2015, number 17 in 2016, number 9 in 2017, and number 11 in 2018. Along with this, he won a ton of tournaments with Na'Vi and with FaZe, and his 8 total MVP awards. Guardian really could have capped off his incredible career in Boston 2018 against Cloud9, but well, we all know what happened there. And after that moment, he never really had another strong chance to win a major again. But I mean, besides winning a major, he's pretty much done everything else there is to do in the game, and is without a doubt one of the best Awpers in Counter-Strike history. Right above Guardian is 3-time major winner, 1-time major MVP, current Awper for GOATed Tier 2 team eyeballers. It's JW. JW's Awper score was a 303.5 with an eye test score of an 8. I gave him an aura score of a 10. Similar to Cadian, he was like a super villain of the game. He was really one of the first ones in the entire scene to be that. In 2013, he was the number 8 player in the world. In 2014, the number 5 player in the world. And in 2015, the number 10 player in the world. Along with this, he has won a metric fuck ton of tournaments with Fnatic and has been the MVP 3 times. JW kind of came out of nowhere at the start of CSGO, of course winning the game's first major with Fnatic, where he really kind of took this scene by storm with his incredibly aggressive opping style, and despite not maybe having the individual accolades of some other players, he without a doubt does have the team accolades, and is one of the original pillars of opping. In my mind, JW has to be in the A tier. Right above JW, we have Kenny S. Kenny S had an Awper score of a 300.5, an eye test score of a 9, and an aura score of a 10. The only reason his eye test score wasn't a 10 is something I actually noticed when watching Kenny, is he would hit one of the most unbelievable, insane highlights you've ever seen, but he was also prone to missing a lot of easy shots you would expect most Awpers nowadays to hit. So just because of that, he gets dinged slightly, but still was incredibly good. In 2013, he was number 12 in the world. In 2014, he was number 6 in the world. In 2015, he was number 6 in the world. In 2016, he was number 13 in the world. In 2017, he was number 7 in the world, along with winning a ton of tournaments, a major MVP, and a total of 10 career MVPs. In 2013, Kenny S posted a 117, and well, he continued to have at least a 1.1 rating until the end of 2019. Kenny S is absolutely a legend of the game. Valve literally had to nerf him at one point, and despite never placing top 5 on the HLTV top 20 list, I think this absolute legend of the game does deserve to be in A tier. This might be surprising to some people, but right above Kenny S is Fallen. Fallen's Awper score was a 417 with an eye test score of a 9 and an aura score of a 10. I think when you take into consideration how much Fallen has done for the Brazilian scene and how good he was individually while calling is literally something we have never seen. While winning 2 majors, he was the number 2 player of 2016, along with being the number 6 player in 2017. SK/Luminosity also won a billion tournaments. He was the MVP of 4 of them. And I mean, number 2 in the world is without a doubt the highest ranking for an IGL we have ever seen. You know, go back and watch some Fallen highlights from 2016 and 2017. I think the recency bias of his time on Furia kind of clouded my brain because for some reason I did not remember him being as flashy as he was. But this dude during his prime had some demonic clips, especially the Fallen Stop Blowing My Mind one. But yeah, while calling his team to success, in 2016, he also had a 1.14 rating. And in 2017, once again, a 1.14 rating. And in at the very top of A tier, we have Markelov. Markelov's Awper score was a 399.5. His eye test was a 10, and his aura score was a 10. I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't truly understand how fucking unbelievable Markelov was. He was like the original Simple. He was without a doubt during his time the best Awper in the game's history. He plays number 1 in 2010, number 3 in 2011, and made the list in CSGO in 2013, placing number 15th. He also was on Na'Vi that won 4 majors in a row, and during his time in 1.6 had a 1.17 rating. Markelov was also recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, and some things that were said about him is there's no player that represents more a generation than Markelov, the face of the end of 1.6, one of the greatest Awpers of all time, and a big game player. The best player of the dominant 2010 to 2011 Na'Vi lineup that won 4 consecutive major events. Impact on the final years of 1.6 is unmatched. Do yourself a favor, go watch some Markelov 1.6 highlights. This guy was a fucking freak. Now we have the S tier, the super duper duper super goats of Counter-Strike opping. And first up, we have Device. Device's Awper score was a 681, his eye test was a 9, and his aura score was a 10. A lot of that partially because he looked like Tom Cruise at his prime. What more at this point really needs to be said about Device? He was in the HLTV top 20 every single year from 2014 to 2021. Skipped a year, then made it again in 2023. He's won the major 4 times, he was a 2-time major MVP, and he was just simply the best player on Astralis during their dominant era, which allowed him to win an Intel Grand Slam, have one of the longest trophy sliding bars that I have ever seen, have 19 career MVPs. Device's total career rating is a 1.15. You know, he is without a doubt a top 3 Awper in the game's history, in my opinion. Probably be the best Awper in CSGO's history, if not for the next man on this list. Right above Device is Simple. Simple has an Awper score of a 656.5, an eye test score of a 10, and an aura score of a 10. I don't even know what to say for these guys up here, you know, like, it's fucking simple. What else do I have to say? He placed in the HLTV top 20 every year from 2016 to 2023, peaking at number 1 3 times, and finally winning his major in 2021 along with the major MVP, an Intel Grand Slam. He has a total of 21 MVPs, and like I've said throughout a lot of other Awpers in this list, you know, just go and watch a prime Simple highlight video. That shit will bring a tear to your eye, maybe even a tear down your leg. But unfortunately for Simple and Device, Device, they cannot compare to the next player who I had to put in a tier of his own. I had to put him in the S+ tier because when you look at the Awper scores, Device and Simple are fairly comparable, both being in the 600s, but ZywOo's Awper score is an 865, dwarfing every other single Awper we have even talked about up to this point. The eye test score and the aura score don't even matter because he is without a doubt, in my opinion, the GOAT Awper at this point. He's been in the HLTV top 20 every single year since his rookie year in 2019, peaking at number 1 4 times, being number 2 2 times, and being number 3 once. Along with this, he is a 3-time major winner, 3-time major MVP, Intel Grand Slam winner, 30-time MVP, and well, after hard carrying the fuck out of Vitality through his first couple of years, he finally got a powerhouse team in 2025, and they just went through and won pretty much everything. Along with this, his total all-time HLTV rating is a 1.33, and I mean, you can make arguments that, like, your eye test wise, he's not as good as Simple, but like I said at the start of this video, if you're a good Awper, you're gonna have good personal achievements, and your main job as a Counter-Strike player is to win. And while ZywOo has a absolutely perfect mix of individual accolades, and after 2025, the team accolades, you know, at this point, he's only 1 major away from tying Device, and I mean, if he gets 5, 6 majors won, I don't know how anyone at any point is ever going to top him. He's already broken the MVP record. You know, he's still only 25. And with how good Vitality have looked in 2026, he just might keep building his resume up and up and up and up. Congrats on your S+ placement, ZywOo. That's it for me today, fellas. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I know for a fact you probably disagreed with 1 or more placements in this video. And well, if you did, let me know down below. But if you liked the video, leaving a like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want notifications, and let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. I am absolutely down to rank more players in the future, and I will see you guys next time.